to continue with our measurement unit, we're going to do our metric system of measurement. We're going to start with, okay, finding the length of the objects. That's what we're going to do. And also, we're going to solve real-world problems with measurement, okay? Just as we did with the customary measurement system, we're going to see our vocabulary words and some examples of these measurements. So when I use my metric system, it says we're going to use centimeters as my measurement unit. They're smaller, there's millimeters, but we're going to start with our centimeters. And that it's about the width of my pinky. Each centimeter is about the width of my pinky. A difference with the inches that were about my thumb, and this one is going to be my pinky. Then we're going to have our meters, and my meter is also going to be do with the long ruler as we did with the customary measurement. This is my meter stick, and meters, remember that the meter is 100 centimeters. So when you have your ruler, you're going to go all the way to 100. You see here 99, and then on the very edge is 100, and we start on 0 right here. Okay, and that would be about the height of a kitchen counter. And then we're going to go to kilometers. Kilometers is about the length of 6 city blocks, or you walk longer distances to measure in kilometers. Okay, as I was telling you, the millimeters is like smaller than centimeters, so that's where you're going to find some bugs and some tiny things like a pencil eraser or the thickness of the lines on your paper where you write. My centimeters is like a fingernail, button, push pins, penny. That's about the width of a centimeter. And meters, we can measure a soccer field, trees, school bus that are longer. And we talk about how kilometers is like the distance when we travel from one place to another. It could be from one state to another state, but it could be also from my house to the mall, or from my house to the school, or when I'm trying to count how much I'm running, I'm going to count that or measure that in kilometers. Okay. The tools that I'm going to use, as I was showing you, is also my ruler, the regular ruler that I have right here, and my meter stick and measuring tapes. As I showed you before, we have measuring tape like this, measure round objects, and I also going to have measuring tapes that are longer and that I can use to measure things that are, as I was saying, like real world problems. Maybe I'm going to measure the area, because we talked about area before too, of my wall, but I need to know the length and the width so that I can find the whole area, and then I can buy the paint if I need to paint the wall. Or I'm going to measure curtains because I want to change the curtains in my room, so I'm going to measure the length of my curtains to be able to know which ones I'm gonna have to buy, because I don't want them to be too short, okay, or too long. Okay, so how to measure? We start from 0 right here, and I can measure the string right there on 0, right? Let me get a marker for that. And made a straight line because that's where the rope starts, and this is my 0. Again, I can count the jumps, but this time instead of inches, we're going to count centimeters. So that's going to go 1, 2, 3, and 4 centimeters right there. And I'm going to put 4 cm. That's the way I'm going to write centimeters. And then I'm going to measure my second rope. But this is not starting on 0, but that's not a problem. Remember, if I don't start on 0, that should not be a problem. I'm only going to start where the object starts, where the object ends, and then count my jumps. 1, 2, 3, and that's going to be 3 centimeters. Okay, that would be the same as if I have a little piece of ribbon right there, and I would want to measure it, and I have my ruler, and I don't start exactly from 0. Maybe I'm going to start right here right? And I'm still going to see my numbers. I will just count the jumps on my ruler. Same thing, okay? Maybe I don't have my complete ruler. That would not be a problem. I'm only going to count my jumps. Okay, so measuring in centimeters. I have three objects here to compare, and these were like real objects. If I would make a straight line, hopefully I could make a straight line right there all the way to 0. And then, or where each one of these object ends, it would be easier for me if I can put right here the pen, and I have this marker and this paintbrush. Okay, so I know the pen right here, I can see that it's a little bit more than 14. Let's say that it's about 14 inches long. And I'm gonna write right there, 14 inches long. And I have my paintbrush goes all the way to 18 inches. I mean centimeters long. Sorry guys, I'm talking about centimeters right now. Centimeters. And then my marker is about 12 centimeters long, okay? So I have my three measurements. If you notice, when we did the inches, those are less than my centimeters. The measurement of my centimeters is smaller, so that's why I'm gonna have more than what I have on my inches, okay? And I want to solve a problem saying that, okay, you know what? I really want to know how much longer is that paintbrush than the pen. Okay. And I would make just want to find the difference of two different measurements in any other problem. And I told you I can either count jumps or I can make a subtraction, because when I find the difference, I'm just doing a subtraction. I can do it doing that 18 inches, 18, I keep on saying inches, 18 centimeters, it's the paintbrush minus what the measurement in centimeters that the pen is, which is 14. I'm not mark it there, but I'm going to show you first with the jumps. So let's say we're in 14, that we said is about, right? About 14 centimeters long, the pen. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, and 4 jumps all the way to 18. Okay, so I said it was 4. But then when I do a subtraction, I'm going to do it from the ones place. Remember, 8 minus 4, that's 4. 1 minus 1, that's 0. So 4 and 4 are the same, right? Now I know that my difference is, the paintbrush is 4 centimeters longer than the pen. Again, up to this point, both of them are 14. The extra part that I have, that's going to be what much longer one object is than the other one. Okay, and using my meter stick, I went around and tried to find things that were the previous objects that we saw. These objects are less than a meter, right? Remember we said to be able to have a meter, we have 100 centimeters. Okay, so these are all less than a meter objects. On my next pictures, I'm gonna give you some examples of things that I found around that were about a meter long. Maybe not exactly, but some of these like were really close, but they were exactly, the bench was exactly 1 meter long, and the other ones were about a meter long. They were off for a few centimeters. But this one, the skateboard right here, it's just a little bit off, but it's about 1 meter long too, right? And then when I go to meters, I'm gonna write the letter M to say meters. My bench right here, it's also about 1 meter long, right? And the height of my chair right here is also about 1 meter. Okay? So we have objects that were less than a meter, then these objects that are about a meter, and on my next slide, objects that are more than a meter that I can find around. I put my measuring meter stick here on the door, and I noticed that that is more than a meter. Maybe the width of my door, right? Right here would be my width. The width of my door would be a meter, but the length or the height of my door is more than a meter. And then I put my meter stick right here by the tree, and I also notice that is more than a meter. I could also use my measuring tape to know exactly the height. I just wanted to know if it was more than a meter or less than a meter, but if I want to know exactly the height, I can use a measuring tape to know that. And then I went outside and I actually used that measuring tape because I wanted to know the distance of these big squares on my driveway. And I put the measuring tape where it starts, right there. And then I measure up to here where it ends. And you can see that it's longer than a meter. That's longer measurements. And I say when I go like longer distances. And I notice right here, if you see right here, it says that it's 9 feet. Okay, 108. Okay, and this is like a whole measurement longer than a meter. Okay, and for you to complete this measurement in metric units on Flipgrid, I need you to go to your second grade mathematician's grid with your code Ochoa, and there's a question on metric measurement. And just as I did, just went around, did a little bit of like a scavenger hunt around the house, outside, and try to find objects that are less than a meter, objects that are about a meter, and objects that are more than 1 meter. I know if you don't have a measuring meter stick like I have right here, maybe you'll find around a measuring tape. Maybe your dad has one of these measuring tapes right there. But if you don't worry, just regular ruler. Remember, 100 centimeters, that's going to be a meter. So if this is one right here, this has 30, okay? Just count these rulers to see if you can find objects that are more than a meter and about 1 meter, 100 centimeters long. Okay? Thank you.